southwest of Fallis right now. And I'm at Potawatomi and Waterloo Road, and I've got a lot of tree and pole damage where it crossed right here. So, Fallis, you're in the bullseye. You got to take cover right now, and then on towards Carney area. But this is a bad situation, Mike. I'm going to have to turn around because I'm getting into some roads that are not favorable for traversing right now due to the heavy rain. They're just turning to slop on me. I'm going to have to backtrack, Mike. Back to you.
Okay, let's go back to Bob Moore Chopper 4, looking at it live. This is as dangerous as it gets. Large wedge-shaped tornado heading right for Carney, in between Carney and Wellston on the highway. It is looks to be right at a mile wide right now. It is at least an F4 tornado. This is the kind of tornado that wipes things clean. In Carney, all the way down to Warwick and Wellston, perhaps as far south as Chandler, over toward Agra. You folks have got to be out of the way or below ground. Let's go back to Bob Moore Chopper 4.
Hey, Mike, as you can see this storm, I mean, it's continuing to grow. Let me spin the helicopter here again. We're trying to get away from it. We'll kind of hold a little bit and get some decent shots, but this thing is moving right.
Man, look, again, it is just a very, very large tornado. Let's go to the North Doppler here. And if we get Reed or Mark back on the Gentner, we'll talk to them. So the circulation here is right on the east side of Fallis right now. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 west of the highway and 4 south of Carney. So 4 west of the highway and 4 south. It is moving just south of due northeast. So it's going to either go over Carney or on the southern sides of Carney. And it is a mile-wide F4 tornado. It's a violent tornado, whether it's a high in 3, 4, or 5, that make much difference. These are the kind of things that just wipe things clean. And you've got to be out of the way or below ground. Those are your two options that you have in Lincoln County, Carney down to north of Warwick on the highway. From there, here's Chandler. It could go as far south as Chandler, but it's kind of paralleling the Turner Turnpike about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 north of the Turner Turnpike. So that's the path that it is taking through Lincoln County right now. Let's go back to Bob Moore Chopper 4 with a live look at it. This is Lincoln County heading for Carney. Violent tornado, could be close to a mile wide. John?
Yeah, there it is, Mike. As you can see, it's continuing to track northeast, and it's almost kind of getting hard to see. I don't know if it's just because it's starting to get sucked in by all that rain, or if it's actually coming lower to the ground and it's blending in with the wall cloud. But we're about just a mile and a quarter to the southeast of it. And it's just continuing to tear everything up. One of the things that we noticed is this popping power lines half a mile to a mile in front of it. So the winds, just because you're not in the tornado, don't think you're out of the way. These winds here are violent and just tearing everything up in front of it, Mike.
Okay, you're looking at this continuing long-tracked violent tornado heading up for Carney. It's back there in the haze, the soup that is feeding this tornado. If we have Mark Dillard, do we have Mark, or do we have Reed Timmer? They're still tracking it. Either one. Mark Dillard. Still on the ground. Let's go to the storm tracker. Let's go to the storm tracker here to show you the path here that it's taken. You see the whole thing basically is an updraft here, and the storm looks light because there's a storm in the way down here at South Dobb, so it's actually a lot heavier than this. But you can clearly see the spinning going on. It's going to go on the southern, looks like maybe the southern sides of Carney, but just barely. But it still could go through Carney. But you folks in Carney want to be underground or out of the way. It could easily make a turn northward. They do that all the time. Turn to the north, they wobble to the south. So Carney, you are in the direct path of this violent large tornado that will wipe stuff clean. It'll wipe it just clean off the face of the earth. So you got to be out of the way or below ground. Those are your two options. It's paralleling the Turner Turnpike. It may be a mile wide the way it looks from Velocities and Bob Moore Chopper 4. If we have Mark Dillard or Reed Timmer, we can go. We have Mark Dillard. There you are. Mark, you're on.
Mike. Okay. I'm still eastbound. I'm just to the north, west of Wellston. This thing is starting to pull away from us as we're trying to fight these roads out here, Mike, that have turned to slop in some situations due to the heavy rain that came down. But off to my north and east, I can't really confirm that it's still in contact with the ground, but a very, very, very dark section that's coming down from the cloud base is probably about 5 or 6 to the north and east of me, probably past Fallis by now, Mike. toward the Ives Airport and going toward Carney. So, Carney, you're in the bullseye for this. Folks, you're going to want to take your tornado precautions, definitely. But, Mike, I really cannot make out any structure down to the cloud, down to the ground, because it is so dark and rain-wrapped back in there. And that just really tells me that some bad things are going on the ground level, as we've already seen back here off of Potawatomi Road. It took out some power poles and a pump jack station, and it had a lot of tree damage as it was going off to the north and east, pulling out of the Arcadia area. Back to you, Mike.
Okay, let's go to Reed Timmer live. Reed Timmer. Go, Reed.
Hey, guys, go on.
Reed is tracking that tornado. You're in velocity 2 here. See that? That's a big couplet. Northeast of Blanchard, there's a big couplet going on right now. Northeast side of Blanchard. Emily is there. Emily's monitoring us on our mobile app and also on the two-way and on radio. Emily Sutton, for you folks in Norman, there is a strong couplet developing on the northeast side of Blanchard. There's no tornado warning right now, but this is a major heads up for Norman. It's a major heads up for Norman. Let's go to the North Dop and the South Dop here. Let's take a look. There's a major heads up for Norman right here. This is a strong couplet on the northeast side of Blanchard, and it is heading for Norman. Here's Norman right here. So let's hope we don't get tornadic activity rolling into Norman. That's a strong couplet. That's one step away from a tornado warning couplet right there. Northeast side of Blanchard on Highway 9, Riverwind Casino right here. It's heading right for the Riverwind. It's heading right for Norman. That is a strong couplet right there. In fact, that's going gate to gate right there. Gate to gate, which is right next to each other like this. That is approaching rapidly tornado warning criteria. Let's go to the South Dop and take a look at it. Here it is right here. It's over Blanchard. The big hail's over South Newcastle. This does not look good.